For the Highlander, it all starts with the overall numbers, and what you see here, it's about 191 inches overall with a decent wheelbase around about 110 inches, just off the top of my head. Another thing to think about for any SUV is ground clearance, fairly decent, around about 8 inches. Last but not least is your width and height. The height just under 6 feet, the width just over. Well, it's got a full-size front and center, called that trapezoid grille. What I really like, something you find similar on the Ford Explorer, is the wraparound headlights. What that does is give you a really dramatic front end and really sets it apart from the competition. As for the tires, this vehicle is sitting on standard 18-inch wheels, but 19-inch are an option depending on trim. Last but not least is there's not a lot of ground clearance here. It has decent height, but one thing that's going to help with it is these side step rails. What I must admit is it does have kind of a low prowess to the ground, and these kind of weren't needed. When you get to the kind of big game up top, you're going to notice chrome accents pretty much all the way around. I like the fact on this particular model you do have body color handles, so we're minimizing chrome to a degree. With any big SUV like this, you can deliver a lot of people on the inside, but it's got to deliver under the hood. Now what you have on this particular model is the V6 power, 3.5 liter. Now it's going to deliver around about 270 horses. That's exactly what you need when you've got such gargantuan numbers. If you want to go with a little bit more horsepower, maybe better fuel efficiency, of course that's going to be a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder. Now that's going to be decent horsepower, around about 185, but to me the V6 where it's all about. Now both engines are coupled to a 6-speed automatic. Besides hauling people, cargo is just as important, and really it all starts right here at the back. Now before we climb inside, one important feature has to be the new smart key system, something every vehicle should really come with because it makes the ease of getting inside that much easier. Now, of course, plays in back here. Simply come up here, press the electronic release, and that's going to kind of raise this rear hatch. Now we're getting to a nice feature in just a second once this gets out of the way. Once this opens up, you're going to find tons of cargo, around about 14 cubic feet behind all the seating, and that's comparable to about a mid-size sedan. Now with the third row laid flat, you're going to more than triple the amount of space, around about 42 cubic feet. Now with all the back seat laid flat, that's going to equate to about 84 cubic feet, or around about tons of space. Now to close the rear hatch, simply press the button right here, but something the vertically challenged may say is kind of a stretch. Once this lowers, one thing to think about is this rear glass, something a lot of SUVs are forgetting about making access, but here on the Highlander it really works out well. Even with the rear windshield wiper in place, this glass actually still pops open, and what that allows you to do is put big items and stretch them out here, like lumber or anything that is too big to go on the inside can go right out the rear window. After all, this vehicle has grown by about 3 inches since the last model, which means, well, it's going to translate somewhere, and it's right here with the occupants. What you're looking at is around about 38 inches of legroom, that compared to a whopping 44 inches up front. What's great is these second row can actually go forward and backwards, really granting space to the back seat passengers in the third row. Now, one thing to think about is comfort, and what you have here in this particular model is the captain's chair. Now you can opt, of course, for the full bench, which is going to give you tons of occupancy numbers, specifically 8. If you opt for what we have here, of course that's going to drop by 1. Now one thing I really like is the individualized armrest and the comfort here. This vehicle is just a little bit wider on the inside, which gives you even more breathing room. And what's great, these armrests really fold into place, and there is this pop-up console for extra ease. One thing that helps with that is the side shades built into these doors. You pull it up and it's really going to kind of decrease on these hot days, but not to mention there's great climate control in this vehicle with tri-zone, 2 up front and this one back here. Really cools down the vehicle with ease. Now for third row access, really where it starts is right here in the second row. One way to move these seats is right up here, the typical bar. That's going to bring these forward and backward. But another way to do it is there's a lot of levers here on the side. And one way is right here. It's going to tumble it forward and slide this. Now it's going to give you decent access, nice stepping area, really gaining back to the back seat. Now another thing to think about is really when you're making cargo, and it's a 2-system kind of process. You already pull the handle, then you're going to tumble it forward right here, laying it flat. When you look at the dash, you're typically going to look for your vents, maybe your electronics. Well, one thing we found here was a nice little shelf kind of niche area. Now what we put up here was our phones and some other little items we tucked out of the way. Sure, there's other vehicles you can put that anywhere else, but this tray really helped out. Even better is you found a place for your sunglasses to kind of be tucked away. Now on the shelf, you're going to find this little niche for your phone, and what this is kind of a place where you can pull it up, run your cords through the USB down below. Really a nice place to store your items when they're charging. When you finally do get a chance to look at the innovation, you're going to see it right there front and center on the dash, the huge touchscreen system with a few minimal buttons on the side. And really what's great is the innovations that's built. Dual climate control up front, really minimized buttons, nice dialing in specific temperature settings. Now even better, you do have the rear control. You can turn it off or on depending on if you want the backseat drivers to be able to access it themselves. Now climate control is built in around this vehicle, and where you're going to notice it again is the heated and cool seats up front. Plus the second row has that just the same. When you're looking to hide those valuables in the open parking lots, look no further than the center console. Now it's got these roll-away open lids here to really tuck out of the way and grant you lots of access. Now that's going to be plenty of storage to store your purse or any valuables, and it's got to have a two-tier system with an upper tray and a lower area. But one last thing has to be up above, really the ability to look at the stars.